2017년 12월 상공입니다. 어느 계절 어느 때나 할 것 없이 하늘에는 이렇게 화학가루가 뿌려져 있습니다. 저 가루는 산화 알루미늄 가루로서 저것이 호흡기를 통해 인체에 들어올 때는 신경세포를 마비시키고 죽이는 그런 결과를 초래합니다. 알츠하이머나 아이들 자폐증을 유발할 수 있는 그런 무서운 화학가루가 지금 우리 대한민국 상공에 뿌려지고 있는 겁니다. 이 심각성을 정치인들과 어떤 언론도 얘기를 하고 있지 않습니다. 무엇이 이유인지 모르겠지만 이 심각성을 우리나라는 전혀 모르고 있습니다. 이것을 하루속히 국민들이 인식을 하고 반대운동이 일어나기를 바랍니다. 2017년 12월 겨울 상공을 한번 찍어봤습니다. 대한민국 상공이었습니다.
Che cosa sono allora le scie che imbrattano i cieli? Le cosiddette scie chimiche sono un fenomeno artificiale. Sono rilasciate sia dai velivoli commerciali, aerei passeggeri e cargo, sia dagli aerei militari. Contengono numerosi inquinanti, in primo luogo gli elementi chimici degli additivi usati nei carburanti aeronautici di nuova generazione, cioè bario, alluminio e manganese. Le analisi chimiche condotte in molti paesi hanno accertato la presenza di altri elementi e composti. Torio e cesio radioattivi, rame, titanio, cadmio, gallio, silicio, litio, cobalto, piombo, nickel, ferro, etilene di bromuro, un insetticida nocivo ufficialmente bandito dall'EPA, l'Agenzia per la Protezione dell'Ambiente negli Stati Uniti. Sono stati pure rintracciati agenti patogeni, funghi, batteri e virus. Se la presenza di false scie di condensazione è senza dubbio collegata alla combustione di carburanti e di additivi speciali, come lo Staris 450, il trimetilalluminio o il supercarburante Al-Ice, non possiamo omettere la questione inerente ai filamenti di ricaduta, che immancabilmente sono stati spacciati per tele di ragni migratori volanti. Da che cosa sono composti i filamenti prodotti dal passaggio di questi aerei? Nel 2012 i filamenti sono stati analizzati da un laboratorio certificato francese. I dati sono stati interpretati e i risultati sono descritti in questo rapporto analitico. Tali filamenti aviodispersi sono polimeri organici complessi a base di composti chimici sintetici, come dimostra l'analisi eseguita su molti prodotti della loro decomposizione termica, tra cui diverse molecole che si trovano comunemente nei carburanti e nei lubrificanti per motori aeronautici. I 4 campioni studiati contengono diversi composti aromatici sintetici tossici e 3 di essi includono il DEF. Un rappresentante di questa famiglia di prodotti particolarmente temuto per la sua proprietà di interferente sul sistema endocrino. Tutte le molecole organiche, in particolare composti eterociclici presenti nei campioni di filamenti aerodispersi, sono fonte di preoccupazione, sia in termini di salute pubblica, sia per il loro impatto ambientale.
We tested water and aluminum, and I found aluminum had 47 times the normal expected amounts. Strontium had 10 to 20 times the amounts. Barium was 20 times. This is what the stuff looks like here. Collected, most people just think it's a cobweb, but I tested it. It has outrageous amounts of barium, strontium, and aluminum, but they destroy the sample, so I'm not letting this get away from me.
You know, these tests are international in scope. We're seeing this all over the world, guys. Okay, pH of acid soils is 20 times more alkaline. The aluminum in the soil has doubled in the last 10 years. The rain normal was 5.6. It's 20 times more alkaline. Aluminum blocks essential nutrients. I am unable in my garden to restore normal pH, and that's because nanoparticles are now in the circulatory systems of both plants and humans.
The Air Force conducted a study starting in 1993. It was called In Vitro Toxicity of Aluminum Nanoparticles in Rat Alveolar Macrophages. That's a real fancy way of saying testing the effect of aluminum nanoparticles on the white blood cells in the little air sacs in your lung, the alveoli. And what they found in this 8-year study was that these particles, when you're exposed to them long enough, it suppresses the ability of your white blood cells to defend you from airborne infections coming into your lungs. So it suppresses your immune system. But they also found that these same particles, once they get into your system, they can actually go through the barrier in each one of the cells. They get inside the cells, and these particles can actually suppress the ability of mitochondria, which are in the cells that help to gobble up toxins and things that would be harmful to the nucleus and the reproduction process of the cells in your body. These processes are suppressed, and so essentially by breathing this material in, your immune system is dramatically...
That thing's coming from sky down, and it's a huge, huge problem. Because as it comes down, what happens is a couple of things. Is that it actually is in our air. We breathe it. And as we breathe it, it's actually going to go up to our nostrils, into our brain, easiest access to our brain frontal lobe. The contaminants that have been identified, which already been mentioned, are aluminum. Aluminum is the #1 free radical generator to the brain to cause early apoptosis, which is early death of brain, and it begins to set off the scar tissue, which we call the amygdalin, which is part of the chemical matrix related to Alzheimer's.
I'm a neurologist practicing in Reading for 17 years, and in the past 5 years, I have seen the number of patients with Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, and other neurodegenerative diseases tremendously increased, almost quadruple.
I became interested in chemtrails about 8 years ago when I was in Hawaii, and the Hawaiians are really being very vocal about it. I concur about the increase in number of Alzheimer's. They have been able to take the aluminum and micronize it, which means it'll stay up longer. But it also means, and I don't know if any of you have noticed a metallic taste in your mouth when they're spraying, but you inhale that, it goes up through your cribriform plate and through your sinuses and into the brain.
As you heard, to spray nanoparticles, very small particles. These nanoparticles, they basically trigger a programmed cell death in the brain, and that is the ultimate path we see in Alzheimer's.
That's problem number one, because when we look at the Alzheimer issue, we say those are the old. The real problem is, and the real scare I have, is as I am a father of 2, I am a grandfather of 3. So the drama is our children. ADD started in the 70s. Autism was not on the radar. There was no documents, there was no information. It was 1 in 100,000 children. Today, what we have is 1 in 48 boys. I was part of the early group that was looking for aluminum in ADD and ADHD. And all of those children that started to develop those phenomena had high levels of aluminum.
Government, because Air Force wrote a book, and on the first page of the book, they said, we're going to control the weather by the year 2025. I asked them, what are they doing, spraying these chemicals on the public? I said, there's violation of United States Code 50 USC 1520, which prohibits the American government from experimenting on the U.S. citizens with chemical agents. I said that law also requires who's ever experimenting, when the federal government does it, that they have to report to Congress within 30 days. They wrote back, they said they don't know what I'm talking about. We have enough evidence that there's this spraying going all over the place.
We were warned about the takeover of our freedoms by the military-industrial complex by both Eisenhower and Kennedy. They're gaining traction on us, folks. We are in trouble more than just a spraying program.
All I can say is it's about time we get up in arms about this, because it is affecting our health. It's high time that we as citizens of this great country take action.
Board of Supervisors in Suffolk County, New York, they outlawed geochemical engineering. Hawaii passed an ordinance prohibiting geochemical engineering. I urge you to bar geoengineering in Shasta County and pass an ordinance. At least ask some damn questions. What the hell is all this aluminum doing here? Why are the trees dying, fishes dying? Why is there Alzheimer and aluminum spiking? And why are these fibers on the ground here in Shasta County? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mormon.